Shoggy Shogs is a powerhouse in the gospel music world with 3 shows. Be inspired with Shoggy Shogs at 12 p.m. on Saturdays, Praise Party at 6 p.m. on Saturdays, and Shoggy Shogs TV show on Fridays at 8 p.m., with a repeat on Saturdays at 10 a.m. His energetic style and multiple talents captivate audiences every week. Tune in to Soul Food Gospel, the ultimate destination for great Christian entertainment. Visit www.soulfoodgospel.com and click play.
Let the worship begin. Cleansing Light presents All for One, One for All, a night of worship on Friday, October 18th at Elim Pentecostal Church, 76 Kingston Road, Wimbledon, SW19 1LA. Doors open from 7 p.m, showtime 8 p.m. Ministering on the night are the UK's finest, Tracy Jane Campbell, Cliff and Marie, Joshua Kessler, Eric Reverence, Fiona York Kenya, and Virtuous Ladies. Your hosts on the night will be Roger Samuels and Tamar. Early bird tickets are £15 plus a booking fee and available from accesstickets.co.uk or log on to cleansinglight.com website for more information. You'll have to witness this unmissable worship experience. See you there.
Ready to supercharge your brand? Choose 837 House, your all-in-one branding solution. We specialize in branding, identity, content, social media, graphics, and logos. Let our experts transform your brand into a powerhouse. Our mission: make your brand shine in a crowded market. Your unique story deserves to be heard. Tailored services for your unique business, startup or established. We're your branding partner. Reach us at +260 965 307 747 or 837housebiz@gmail.com. Let's create success together. We got you covered at 837 House. Your success is our success, where brands thrive.
Well, good day, one and all, and welcome, as always, to another Soul Food Gospel show, another breakfast show, another very special breakfast show in this period of time that we always say that we're going through. Olive, while she's on a break, that always reminds me of what happened in Phoebe and Chandler and in Friends when you say, I was on a break. But anyway, she said she's on a break. But what we do is we normally come up with some really great guests, right? And I want to give a shout going out last week. We had Mr. Sterling Cool Breeze Roberts. He came onto the show, and what a delight he was as well. Do remember, you can check that one out, also available on the podcast. But this week, we have somebody who does a job that I would like to do. If there was another job that I would do, apart from maybe doing the radio and other stuff, I would love to do what he does. He is an IT analyst. He's a security threat expert, and he's here to talk to us about, just some top tips about safety, some things about internet safety, keeping our kids safe as well. So I am going to welcome into Soul Food HQ from a secret location, Mr. Emmanuel Bbosa.
Thank you, DJ Dar. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. How has your day been? I know that we've had to grab you and sequester you from what you should be doing to help us out, but we're really grateful. How's your day been, my brother?
Well, the day has been really good. We thank God. The day has been good, and finally we can have this show on. And I could be hosted by you, which is a pleasure. Thank you so much, sir.
Wow. Look, this guy, you want to come back again because the way you're behaving like a guest that wants to come back again. So now
let's see how it goes.
I've got a feeling that will be good. So one of the other things that you guys don't know about him, he's an excellent pianist as well and a musician too. And I think you play more than the piano, right? You play probably every instrument in the band.
Yes, I do play a bit of drums. I play a bit of bass and keyboard as it is, which is the organ as well. So yeah, I serve in church as well as a music minister.
Wow, look at that. And he's a security expert as well. So there you go. Who said that you can't, have a full-time job? Some people think that if they're in ministry, they shouldn't be working,
Absolutely. But it's an opportunity to serve God. It doesn't stop you from doing everything else, because that's where God manifests himself when you serve him, and then he shows himself in everything else you do. So it's such a pleasure, honestly. Yeah.
Oh, good. That is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your background. I know I kind of alluded to your IT background, but say it in your own words, because I'm sure I didn't get it quite right.
Yes. So, as DJ Val said, my name is Emmanuel Bbosa, and I'm working with a social media company, one of the social media companies, a viral one right now, as a vulnerability management specialist, dealing in helping the company cope with any outsider threats and any vulnerabilities or risk management they would need. I've been in this role for just over a year now, and I've been in this particular career for almost 3 years now, after finishing my degree in 2021. Yeah.
God, I love the way you just did that. That was
Thank
excellent.
you so much, sir.
Have you been interviewed before? Because you got a good presence on camera.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I've not had an interview like this. This is my first time, which is a big pleasure. But I've attended quite a few conferences where I've had to address a few questions from different people, including the latest DEF CON conference, which is one conference for one of the creme de la creme hackers in the world. And I've had a few times where I've had people talk to me.
Yeah. DEF CON, did you say? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right, Emmanuel, man, let's get to this. Otherwise, I'll be talking all the things that I want to talk, and we won't talk about the things people want to hear. So we want to jump into it. So we've got a few questions, all right, and just a few phrases. Let's go through a few phrases first of all, and just see what you throw. So, in layman's terms, for example, what would you class cybersecurity to be?
In layman's terms, cybersecurity would be like every one of us. We have a personal identity, which is your physical appearance, the way you look on the face, the way you speak, your character, your personality. That's in the physical. But in the digital world, we do have a trace, or we have a person in the digital world. Your person in the digital world must be protected just as you protect yourself. The way you go to your house, you lock yourself in the house. The way you go on the road, you don't want the cars to knock. You have to look left and right before you cross. Cybersecurity is that side of the life you live on the digital world. It's your digital trace. It's your personal life in the digital world. So cybersecurity comes in to act as a barrier or security for yourself to help you navigate your security on the digital side of the world. So, for example, our emails, right now, your email is your identity. If anyone got hold of your email or your password to your email, they have the identity of who you are. So it's like someone else coming to be within your body. You know, you're not in your body, but someone else is in it. So cybersecurity comes in to protect your digital scope, your digital self on that side. That's why it's extremely important.
That's a brilliant answer, you know.
Thank you.
That is a brilliant answer. It's the right answer, I know, but a brilliant answer. I'm enjoying this all the more. People, you need to be listening. You got to listen to this, because this guy you can see he knows his stuff. We have brought an expert onto the show. So there's a lot of phrases out there, and I get asked this quite a lot. So someone said to me the other day, you know, I dabble a little bit. I'm more in the Apple side of things, but you know, I dabble, and dabble is really probably a light word. It's not really good. So, you know, someone was saying, so, you know, if you're on a computer, what's the difference if you get a virus, for example, versus maybe malware, or are they the same thing?
Yeah. So they're not entirely the same thing, though they're relative. So a virus could be something like, as you can hear it, in the physical, you do get viruses, viral infections. And in the digital world as well, there are viruses. So when your system gets a virus, for example, a virus will get your system, and it's transferable from one of your systems to another system that is connected to your system. Just as you remember in COVID, when you get COVID, or you can infect someone else with it through the air, it's airborne and this kind of stuff. So viruses as well can be transmitted from one network to another. So that's the difference between the virus. And then the malware itself, it's almost like a software that will get downloaded onto your system, and then they have different characters. Some softwares, some malwares will literally just shut down your computer. Some malwares like ransomwares will ask you to pay some money before they open your computer. So this is almost like the analogy will be like someone getting hold of your stuff and telling you need to pay me before I give it to you back. Yet a virus, it's something that gets on your computer, and then it could affect other computers, but then it does corrupt the systems. Like we get a virus and you get really ill, you feel weak, and you do all this kind of stuff. It's the same thing with a computer. When you have a computer that has a virus, it will start malfunctioning. It will freeze midway. It could, you click something, then it just pops up with everything popping up all at once, or you try to click something. So it makes your computer malfunction. So you find that some malwares have these same traits as well as viruses. Though most of the time, malwares are softwares that are malicious. They are made actually in a way that they're intended to probably steal your data, or just ask you for money before they give you back your systems, you know, as you call them, ransomwares. Those are malwares. Ransomwares are malwares, which are softwares that come to deter you from accessing your information from your computer unless you pay a price for it. You know, and that's the difference between malwares and viruses.
Wow. So the ransomware thing, you hear this quite a bit, right? You hear a lot of people. I think the NHS was hit by a ransomware thing last year or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes.
If you give in and give them the money, right, what's to stop them doing the same thing again?
So that's the problem. Most of the time, we do not advise people to pay when you get a ransomware, because the motivation most of the time for the ransomware attacks is financial. They lock you out of your system, and then they will ask for some money to let you back in. So long as you're paying this money, it's like you're renting your computer from them. There's no reason why they shouldn't do it again. You understand? So the only deterrence you have against them is you not paying that money. So there's chances that you might lose some data, but also there's chances that you could recover some data. So to be on the safer side, it's always best not to pay to those ransom unless you want to be in the same pattern again and again.
So I'm guessing just trying to put a spin on this, because I'm sure there's people that have been affected. There are people within ministries, and if the NHS can be affected by this kind of thing, that
Yeah.
you get to that point. So is the hope that you pay the ransomware and then you get your system back, and then you now beef up your security, right? And do backups and stuff like that, so that you don't get hit again.
Yeah, but unlike in the normal world where someone will give you something back, you could run away with it. When you have a ransomware in your laptop or on your computer, most of the time, either 100% of the time, they leave a backdoor. They leave one port or one way they could still access your system, even if you paid. And there are also chances you could pay up and still not get your system back. So they never always leave completely. They will leave and leave something back to track you, to monitor what you're doing, to still be able to access your computer and systems. So that's why it's not wise to pay up, because when you pay up, you're just literally inviting uninvited guests into your house and hand them the keys so that they can let you in and let you out of your house anytime they want.
There's some wicked people out there,
Absolutely.
That's their job. All right, so people, ransomware, you need to be strong. Okay, so another thing, and I'll just kind of like put that in there. So the idea of having a good backup. What would just tell us, what's the real importance of having? Because most people don't have backups. You know that, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. We come from a world where we just live the normal way. When you have a house, you normally have one. You don't expect it to rain and crash your house. You don't expect a storm, unlike in some places where they have storms and everything else. But in the normal world, in the ideal world, you have a home, you have a house where you sleep, you wake up every day too. But if anything happened to that house, you would gladly have a roof somewhere else. You would happily have a roof somewhere else where you can still have keys to it, where you can still have everything you lost in the other house in a snap. It's different if you have insurance, but in a snap, if you can access it, even the better. So in this same way, if you have backup for your systems, for your computers, you have carbon copies or copies, even if not carbon, you have copies of everything you have, digital copies of everything you have on your main system. It helps you in a sense that even if you had lost this data to a ransomware attack or to a virus, whatever it is that you've lost data, you still have this data somewhere else that you don't have to pay up, you don't have to worry. It's incorruptible. It's somewhere else and kept safely. And that normally we advise people, if you keep it somewhere, you back it up on, for example, cloud, and then you disconnect the system. You can set up an automatic backup where maybe once a week you back up your data. But what happens between the time where you haven't backed up and then you've backed up? So we normally advise people to always keep backing up your data all the time. Anytime you download something that is important, back it up immediately, because it happens anytime. No one knew when COVID was coming in, but when it came in, we all lost what we had, almost everything, and we hoped we had backed up our life somewhere else. But we're in the physical, we can't back ourselves up. You're there, you get sick, that's it. You know what I mean?
It's true, and if we could, that would be causing a lot of problems, man. Imagine there was two of me. There's another of me somewhere else. Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
I don't even think my wife would enjoy two of me. She'd be like, "No, this is going to be too much."
It's crazy, absolutely.
Yeah, too much. All right, so backup is really important, and nowadays on smartphones, like on the iPhone, I know as I said, I'm an Apple guy. I know you have like iCloud that will back up your data as you're using it as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then on Android, do Android have something similar as well? I don't know much about Android, but I'm guessing that they do. I mean, to be honest,
most of Android systems and devices have backup for the Google backup, and you could pay a small fee for it, but it's always worth it. For example, all of us know every time when you wanted to get a picture that you took maybe a few years ago, you couldn't find it in your phone. You've switched phones at some point, but then it's still there in your backup. So you find it in your Google Photos or anywhere else where you keep it. And yeah, that's the use of a backup. Whenever you need it, it doesn't matter what time it is, you always get it from there.
And you hit on something really important there, Emmanuel, as well. Photos, which are, they're priceless, right? You might be able to get a document if you know that somebody sent you the document. You can request another one, but if you took that photo, of our kids or special event or something like that, and it's gone, you can't even put a value on that. That's like
Yes, absolutely. And could you imagine if someone is not backing up their photos maybe once a month, or every week or every day, it means they would have lost memories of all the time. And in this day and age where we do not print photos physically, it means you've lost the trail of that event and everything else that happened after it, which is
Mm,
almost something very expensive. It may not be that important, but imagine it was your wedding photos. Imagine it was your
yeah,
maybe your child's
yeah,
birth photos and everything else that is extremely priceless. It means you're losing something invaluable that you cannot replace. So it's extremely important to be backing up our photos and everything else apart from photos, your documents, all these things that you cannot get back in a snap. I think is extremely important.
yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I have multiple backups backed up. I have a backup of the
Yes.
backup of a backup. That's how crazy things are here.
Yeah, and I can imagine you as a DJ you need a backup for your music, for the
Oh,
songs you play and stuff.
I can't even tell you where I have on the main system, then it's cloned somewhere else, and then it goes to an online service as well. So there's,
Yes, yes,
they say three is a magic number, right? So
yes, yes,
you're
absolutely.
yeah. So even if we had an extinction level event, I've got it on
Yeah,
a server somewhere. I
of
can pull it
course.
down. So yeah, it's really important.
Smart, smart idea. Yeah.
hmm Let's talk a little bit about. So here's one that comes up quite a bit. And again, it was in work, and someone was asking, "What do they call it?" This phishing, and spelt with a
Yeah,
PH. So tell
yeah.
us a bit
Fishing.
about what phishing is. Hmm
Uh, so phishing, in simple terms, I would say, is an attempt from someone to get information about you or information from you that you'd rather, in normal days, not tell anyone else. You know, uh, that's called phishing. In simple terms, we could call it scams. Because
Mm.
I believe all of us have got those text messages telling you to put your PIN number or to win this money, or we've all got those emails where they're telling you to put your
Yeah.
username or you've won $1 million or this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those are all types of phishing and attempts to phish your information. It's called
Mm.
phishing because it entirely involves someone throwing in a hook and hoping to get something. They know they may not get something, but one day a fish could get on that hook and they would fish it out. So they probably chose to name it fishing because it almost is similar to catching fish in a lake, where you're not sure whether you catch anything, but sometimes you do catch something.
So you put the right bait on the end, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
$1 million. Oh, you've won this free
Exactly.
trip to America. Oh,
Absolutely.
you've got a parcel that needs to be cleared from customs. So all
Yeah.
you need to do is pay, and you go, oh yeah, let me put my details in, and then people
Yes.
get. So if someone's got a suspicious email, right?
Yeah.
What would you advise for them to do, Emmanuel? You're not too sure
So
about the email. Hmm
right now, as we speak, technology has really advanced, and it's at the level where they could use emails that could look very, very familiar. They tend to camouflage the people we trust. Someone
Mm.
could send you an email and they've used a proxied email and put your mom's name on it, and
Wow.
put people around it. It's because there's technology that could try and collect as much information about you in a snap before you even know. We have social media, and this is why we should be wary what we put on social medias. We take pictures and tag different people. People know people who are friends to us just in a snap like that. You take your picture and put it on Google, and Google can identify everyone in that picture just like that. So
Mm.
these people, the scammers and hackers, know this kind of technology and know how to use it, that they would try and use emails that are similar to people you trust. But one thing is, cyber security is mostly about awareness. Most importantly, awareness in knowing that my mom could never do this. My mom would never call me if they needed this. My mom would never say something like this. Or before he sends it by email, she would call me. You know, so we have to be on the lookout. You have to be your own guard first and foremost. The weakest link in cybersecurity and hacking is people. People are
Yeah.
the weakest link, and unless we become more aware and look out for these kind of things, we will always almost get caught when we're too desperate to get money. When you're too desperate to get anything done, you get caught out because these people will know that you're trying to buy a house because they're collecting your cookies. All these websites that collect your cookies, you start getting ads for cookies. I mean, for buying houses and everything else. This kind of information the hackers have access to. They get them from they will send you cookies themselves through some ads, some trojans. You click on those things we click on. Most importantly, when we give our kids the phones, we don't know what they're clicking on. Yet they're
Mm.
clicking on things that could actually alert hackers or scammers that you're actually interested in this particular thing. Before
Mm.
you know, they're sending you things on that sort and trying to make it sound almost very juicy. So we all of us have to be alert to anything that sounds too good to be true. It's most likely going to be a scam. If someone is sending you an email, or you
Yeah.
have their phone number, they send you WhatsApp messages, but they're sending you an email this time round. It's too
Mm.
good to be true. Something is not correct. So we
Yeah.
have to be alert. Most importantly.
Yeah. And I think that is such a you hit the nail right on the head. We are the weakest link. Our
Yep.
computers are not going to go onto a site, and our computers are not going to download things by themselves. It's we are the ones that initiate those kind of things. And
Absolutely.
I always say, if I look and I think, I wonder if this is real, I take no action. If it's real, the person will call me, or I'll give you an example. This is a really good example. So I
Yep.
had like from the tax office, I got a letter,
Yeah.
right, from the tax office saying you've got a tax rebate. Even Emmanuel, the paper it came on, it looked so suspect. I thought, yeah, of course I'm due a tax rebate.
Yeah.
I just parked the thing somewhere else, and I thought, I'll just wait. But I've got access to like get into my HMRC online.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me just go and look. I said, these guys, how do they? Anyway, I went in, but it was true. I did. But my thing was, I wasn't gonna follow, like get excited or start doing stuff based on it. I said, if it's due to come, if you said, DJ Val, I'd like to send you £500,
Yes.
and you message me, then I'll wait for you to send it. I'm not gonna do anything. If you said that you're gonna do
Yeah.
it, you're gonna do it. But I think a lot of time people are, and the reverse of that as well, which I'm sure you've seen, is like the WhatsApp scams, where people now
Yeah.
take over the phone and then start begging money from people, and because
Yes.
it's somebody that you
Yes.
you think, oh, okay, I should.
Yes. So there's so many different attacks when it comes to scamming, and in all honesty,
Mm.
there's more to come. There's more to come because they try always to reinvent it and to make it seem more believable all the time. So I believe even if WhatsApp says it's very secure as it is, as we know it's end-to-end encryption, what are the chances that the person you think you're chatting to is not the one holding their phone? What are the chances that the person you're chatting to might have logged in on WhatsApp web, in quotes, somewhere,
Mm.
and they did not even log out? So there's still loopholes that could be exploited with someone who is really good at doing what they do.
Mm. Yeah, and again, it's just, I think everybody just needs to be aware. Just be aware. If you go to a public computer, or a computer in someone else's house, or you're using someone's,
Yeah,
make sure that you log out. You've
absolutely.
logged off, not just closed the lid and thought, I've just transferred the money, for my kids' nursery. Oh, thank you so much, good friend of mine. And then the details
Yes.
are left there. Then maybe another friend comes, notices that it's all still there, and then as our stories begin to start, man. But yeah, we just
Yeah.
need to be more aware. Hmm.
Yes, DJ Val, on this particular topic, I would love to just give a few pointers for people.
Mm.
Uh, like I already mentioned, a few things to look out for. But like you said, fake emails, fake messages, you receive a message, seems like it's from a trusted source. Sometimes they'll send you a message that almost looks like your phone number, because it's very
Yeah,
relatable. You
yeah.
know, it's very relatable. They can clone it and just send it to you, and it's relatable. You know what happens is these things are not sometimes even done by people physically, but these people are running softwares that can do these things, that can manipulate many people's numbers and then send them messages with the recipient number or with the sending number showing almost similar to their number. So you look
Mm.
out for that kind of stuff, and almost all the time, or if not a few times, or these messages will come in with a sense of urgency and threatening almost, or pushing you into a corner where you have to do it. You have to
Mm.
do it unless you back out. So look out for those kind of feelings. Even if it was your friend and is holding you hostage until you do something, you have to look out for things like that. So sense of urgency and threatening messages, almost half of the time, those are spamming messages. And
Mm.
then messages that are asking you to put your personal information in them.
Mm.
That is called data theft. And it happens a lot of times. Look out for it. You get a message that is asking you to put your postcode, asking you to put your name, asking you to set
Date
a
of
password
birth,
to create an
or whatever.
account, all
Yeah,
these kind of things. Uh, those are things that we have to look out for, and hopefully people can look out now even more.
yeah. Like, we can't even talk about setting up passwords because they know if you set up a password and an email, that's probably the one that you use for everything. So,
Yes,
you know, they say, oh, do this, and then you
yeah,
do it, and then you think, well, nothing happened, but then they've
yeah.
just harvested all your data, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You just tapped on the issue of passwords.
Mm,
Uh, I do believe it's something that challenges us all because we have so many different accounts that you need a password to.
mm,
But think about it this way: we all have friendship groups.
mm,
We have church friends, we have home friends, we have all these different groups. But you know how you relate to these groups is not the same way. And
mm,
it's not the same way sometimes, not because you don't want it, but because you do understand that you don't want to be mistaken to have said something that you did not say, or to just mistaken your character out of what it is. In all honesty, when it comes to online, you do have to have a different password for everything else, because uh, as you can be open to me, DJ Val, you may not be open to someone else. The
mm,
degree of you trying to protect that information from me and letting someone else access it, that's what a password does if you create it for different accounts. So if you have the same password for every
mm,
account, that's almost you saying every social media should be able to access me the way, oh, you can access it with the same way. So what happens in the digital world when someone has your password that is shared among all these different accounts you do have, it means this person can access all your different traits, all your different friendships, all your different characters, everything else with just one password
wow,
in turn.
wow,
So
wow.
that's why it's important to have a different password for every social media account
Different
you create
things.
or every account you create, because we have the same password for the email, same password for your bank app, you have the same password for your music app, you have the same password for YouTube, same password for everything else. The worst case scenario is someone got that, I think you've lost your personality online.
You've lost it
Yes,
all. You might as well
definitely.
go and live on Mars, man. That's it. It's game
Yeah,
over for
exactly.
you. And then it's good to use, proper passwords. You know,
Yeah.
I, I know some people, their password is password or password one
Yeah.
or one, two,
Yeah.
three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine.
Absolutely. It's almost like coming to your house and then you open it halfway and go to bed, you know?
Mm,
That means someone could still come in. Anyone who wants to in will come in.
yeah.
Or you close your door and then you just put a string on it.
Mm,
You're locking it this time round, but it's
mm,
just a string. That
mm,
means someone can just come and cut it.
mm.
Or you close your door and then you put on a key lock where you just push up the handle, and if
Yeah.
someone brings it down, it's just going to open.
Yeah.
It means the bigger the password or the harder the password, that's the harder the level of defense you're putting, the harder the wall you have
Come
before
on.
you.
Yeah.
You know, it's very important to have a difficult password, not because you're worried you won't remember it, but it's because the longer it is, the longer it takes someone else to crack it. Right now, there is machines or there is softwares that can crack passwords, and they have the password dictionary where when they harvest these passwords from wherever they get it, they put them in these dictionaries. And anyone who wants to hack you will run the machine into those passwords they have, and imagine they have your
Wow.
password in it. It means they'll easily crack your media open or your
Mm,
accounts open. So when you have a difficult password, that's you getting a big lock and putting it on your door. You have a key to it, you'll be able to enter it. You don't have a key to it, you cannot get into it.
yeah.
You know?
I love that. That is such a good analogy to use. It's like, closing your door but leaving it half open and say, well, there's a door, but
Yeah,
I don't need much for me to push and then come in and take your belongings.
exactly.
And nobody would do that. Nobody would do that. We are, oh God, we see, this is such an interesting topic. All right. I just want to round up, right, Emmanuel, and maybe we need to bring you back again a bit later on with maybe a more, an advanced level one for people. We can maybe look at, a particular set of things, two-factor authentication, that kind of stuff, and really talk a little bit more about it. But I just want to talk. So we have a lot of kids that tune into the show.
Yeah,
And then we also have obviously parents, their parents as well
yeah.
that are trying. If you could maybe just give us some top tips for just keeping kids safe online or while they're using their devices, what would you say would be the top tips?
So the top tips for toddlers and young children who are using your phones, or even if you bought them their phones, the first and foremost is you need to own the accounts they're using. Don't let a kid get their own email and assign it to an account and then open up something on their phone you bought them or on your phone.
Mm,
Because when you have the email, you're able to track what your child is doing. That's one of the easiest ways because you have the access to the email. You're
yeah.
able to track what they're doing. Even if you give them a phone, they have a phone, and you're logged into with your email, you can check it anywhere on your phone. You can log into that email and see what this child has been accessing anywhere at the end of the day. And also, there is parental controls on most of the mobiles right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
where you set the mobile into parental control, where certain apps are limited to children, or if those apps are not limited, they have a kids mode where they're able to do things that are acceptable of their age.
Hmm.
And most importantly, as well, you need to monitor screen time because these screens are so interesting. The longer someone stays on the screen, most
Scroll,
times is the more they will
scroll.
know, and the
Yeah.
more they know, the more they can hack something or they can go away with something because you're not going to be monitoring them all of the time. So whenever you limit this time, you know that this child is going to be on YouTube for the next uh, 30 minutes or 1 hour. It means after that time, they're not
Mm,
accessing this. If they had anything they wanted to access that was not permissible from you, it means they'll not be able to see it in that particular time. Or you can set that time for just studies, and they can use these apps for even better stuff other than just surfing online and going
yeah.
everywhere. So monitoring their screen time is extremely important. Yeah, and
Mm,
also it's very good because when you limit their time from being on the screen, then they spend that time somewhere else, maybe doing something physical,
mm-hmm.
which is really, really good for their health as well.
Mm,
And then as parents as well, we have to stay engaged. Uh, we have to be present when our children or our kids are using our phones, because if you have been compromised, for example, worst case scenario, you've been compromised on your mobile, and you give your phone to your child, a hacker already has a backdoor in your device, laptop or phone, wherever it is, and they can see from the webcam that the child is using
mm,
this computer. If they sent a prompt that just needs them to press yes, your child will do it because they don't know what it is. They think it's just yes to this, maybe
mm.
surprise or whatever it is. They'll press it. It doesn't even have to be through the webcam, but for anything that pops up where your child has no idea how to deal with it, you're present to help them. It's very important to stay present and stay engaged, not to get tired of it when we're working with the kids.
Wow. I think that is, you are right. It is ultimately down to the parents to be able to
Yeah,
manage what happens and what goes on. And I think those are such valid points as well. It even got me thinking. I remember when my boy was a little bit. You see him now as a giant, right? When he was younger,
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to marvel how he could get through things. 'Cause I knew he couldn't read, but he will get through things to get to the game that he wants, and
yeah.
I'd be like, so I know it came up and it said this. What did you do? And he showed me, he'd go, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then it opens.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, okay. So, yeah. So we just need to be,
Yeah,
yeah, we need to check in and just make sure that we are parenting those kids right and checking what they're doing as well. Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was mostly for toddlers and just children, kids below,
Mm,
let's say, below the age of 7. And past that age, I think they're in an age that is where they can comprehend what you speak to them, what you tell them. They can start
mm,
understanding these things. I think it's very, very, very important for us parents to start teaching our kids the importance of online safety from a very early age,
mm,
because at the end of the day, you will never always be with them. Where they go to school, where they meet people, where you're not,
yeah.
it's possible that they do access things that you've limited them to at home. So it's very important to just teach them the importance of staying safe. Uh, you have to explain to them, use analogies to explain to them the dangers or worst case scenarios of them being hacked or hackers getting hold of their information, because it's not putting fear into them, but it's the reality of life. It's the
Yeah.
reality of where we live right now. It's not trying to threaten them. It's true, and it's true, these things are happening. People are losing money, people are losing their valuable stuff because maybe we were not that much aware from when we were growing up in that kind of stage. And it's very, very also important to make sure that as parents, we do have an open communication relationship, open communication with our kids,
Mm.
because for anything that you've missed out, if you're open with the child and they can speak to you about it, they'll tell you what they've seen, they'll tell you what they've accessed. Right now, more than ever, there's an invasive spread of pornography online that
Yeah.
even for something very innocent, you find there's another perversion of it in the pornography. So
Mm.
anything that a child is watching, anyone they are using, or your phone and anything else that could pop up. It doesn't mean that you're watching porn or accessing it anyway, but
Mm.
they're trying to make it, they're trying to entice people into accessing this kind of stuff. And before you know, this is the exact same stuff they'll use to hack people. You click on something and then you end up with something downloaded onto your phone. So
Mm.
keeping an open relationship helps you iron out things that you couldn't be able to speak out to your child, and they have to speak them back to you instead. So
Mm.
it's a back and forth relationship if you're going to help ourselves and our kids to stay safe online.
Brilliant. Emmanuel, you know what? We're going to wrap it up right there. Thank you so much for taking the time. We could talk on and on and on. It's such a huge
Absolutely.
topic. You know,
Very
it
big.
really is. And I don't think, you know, our little slot on here on the breakfast show on Soul Food Gospel is enough to do it justice. But this is just to whet your appetites, ladies and gents. And as I said, once Emmanuel's schedule clears up a bit, we will attempt to bring him back again for a deeper dive.
Sure.
If you've got any questions, please send them through. You know, I can channel them onto him, and then we can get responses put up online as well. But Emmanuel, thank you so much indeed.
I do appreciate it, sir.
You make cybersecurity relatable.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, sir. And for those who don't know, DJ Val is my uncle. He's Uncle Val. For the time I've been in this country since I met him, he's been home to me. Him and Auntie Olive, amazing family to me, to be honest. So it's a pleasure that I get involved in this podcast, and I look forward to helping more and helping people more. Thank God.
Oh, thank you so much, indeed. That's very kind of you as well. I know. We love you and we love your family.
Absolutely.
So, so it's a real labor of love to have him here helping us out here today. Listen, we're going to leave you. We're going to let him go. We've got to let him go. He's got a family he's got to look after as well. But thank you so much indeed, Emmanuel, and take good care.
Much,
yeah, and we'll see you again next time.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Take care, sir. Bye.
Bye. So I want to say a huge thank you going out there to Emmanuel. Thank you so much indeed. Yeah, there is definitely something that I'd love to do a lot more with him, but you know, that was really, really good for in a short space of time. I felt I learned something, and I hope you did as well. Do remember, if you've got your questions and comments, do place those. I know that you guys comment in the chat, but you can also put the comments or questions on the notes at the end, at the comments at the end of the show, and we will do our best to get back to you, or Emmanuel will do his best to give us some answers to the questions as well. So share this show. This one's really important. Share this show. Now up next week, no, The Real Deal Olive F is not back. We have another speciality show. We are doing something a little bit different. We have a friend that went to school with The Real Deal Olive. She's going to spill all the juicy No, she's not. It's a friend of hers who's a pastor, Pastor Alice, and she's going to be with us next week. And I don't know what's going to be happening, because I'm not going to be involved in that interview. It's just going to be the two of them talking. So I'm going to step out of the way, let The Real Deal Olive catch up with her old school friend, and let's see what comes out of that. Do remember, soulfoodgospel.com is where you find everything that we do, all of our shows, the 24-hour radio station, the award-winning 24-hour radio station. Go check that out as well. Go to soulfoodgospel.com and press play. And if you are interested in any of the podcasts, these shows do go into the Apple Podcast Store, into Spotify podcasts as well. You can find that information. I'm putting it up in the chat as we speak. You can see it will come up in the chat as well. But I think I've exhausted everything I need to do today. So I'm going to let you guys get on with the rest of your days. Take good care. Thank you very, very much indeed. And I can't even end the show without saying this. We're going to finish up with our record of the week. This young lady hails all the way from Philadelphia. Her name is Trina Sharifa Cuff, and our record of the week is Listening. Take care. See you soon.
The Soul Food Show, record of the week.
You know, this song was inspired by 2 Chronicles 7:14, because sometimes we should be listening.